It's cool if you hated how it all went down. It's cool if you loved how it all went down. It's cool if you're lukewarm. It's not cool to be cruel to real people because of how they had a fictitious storyline end. Hello Muggles, my name is Ashlee Stormo and I am so sad that our watch is over. So like the ending or not, Game of Thrones is all wrapped up and it's been almost a week and I'm still sad about it. Reflecting on Game of Thrones as a series as a whole makes me want to be a better storyteller, and there's a bar there for TV and you've got to rise to that occasion despite what you may or may not think about the series ending. It's still a groundbreaking, fantastic show that should be celebrated. I'm not sure who my favorite character is. Probably Tyrion, possibly Sansa, and arguably Arya. I'm really not sure because the writing, the characters are that good. It's so hard to pick. I have empathized with the worst people imaginable, and I have cheered for redemption as if it really mattered in real life. Talking about Game of Thrones has cultivated friendships in college, or did cultivate friendships in college, and I talk about it in the workplace, and I think it's absolutely amazing how a show can create a sense of community that impacts people in their true realities. This is the last time I'm going to be talking about the show until the prequels, so I thought I would give some final thoughts. The first thing I want to just put into the universe is that this show, this season, was technically brilliant. The acting, the set design, the costume design, the sound, the score, the editing, the cinematography, it's absolutely stunning, and I think that any show could look to it for inspiration. Secondly, I thought that the Mad Queen ending was brilliant. I took a screenwriting class where we would write our screenplays and the professor would read through them and say, okay, it doesn't feel like a villain because you can tell that you want us to hate the villain. It's too obvious. A good villain is the hero of his or her own story, and with this ending it's really intelligent commentary because we've grown with Daenerys and she is the hero of her own story. I think this is brilliant commentary. It's intelligent that every single bad guy can be wrong, but they come from what they feel is a good place. The last little bit I want to leave is that I love the community of Game of Thrones. It's massive, but it's also been really interesting to see some of the consequences of having a massive audience. A ton of people hated this season, and that is okay. I have a few questions myself. Some of them include, what was this horse a symbol of? Who was Arya supposed to kill with green eyes? Was it Walter Frey? Where did Drogon take Daenerys? As my mom put it, it's hard to trust that villains are really dead. And we had so much training with Arya being a faceless man, but it didn't seem that there was closure with that either. She only used it once and it was epic, but we spent so much time on it that I thought that there would be more, and I would have loved to have seen some more closure with her and Gendry. And why did Brienne leave Sansa after she broke off into her own kingdom? Because she swore an oath. I was really surprised that they didn't end up in the same place. My remaining questions come from a place of love, though. I care, and that's important. That is a gift. That means that the storytellers, the cast, the crew, they did a good job in making me care about this show. The fact that I'm investing time into wondering why they did some of the things that they did or how they got there shows that they have done a fantastic job and they have raised my expectations. I'm content with not having answers to these questions because my favorite writing advice is to give the audience 2 + 2, never 2 + 2 = 4. So maybe it's kind of fun to wonder what some of these answers are when they weren't very clear. It's also okay if you hated the final season. I get it. That also comes from a place of caring, which is also a compliment in and of itself. I have had some fascinating conversations with people who are pissed and bitter and angry at the way that this series came to conclusion. And that is good discussion. These are progressive conversations. This will help future storytellers with whatever shows that they're creating, or movies or books. I understand where people are coming from. I understand that the way that the characters got to where they are could have benefited from more time to let these storylines breathe and feel more natural. I get it. I genuinely, totally get why some people hated the ending. I really do. And I think some of the actors might feel the same way. HBO wanted more episodes, so clearly multiple people felt that. And that's my whole point. It's totally chill. I get it if you hated the ending. I enjoyed it. There were some holes that I was sad about. I understand if you didn't like it. I totally do. Totally. I think you'd be insane if you were completely content with where it all ended. Not liking the final season, even hating it with a passion-y fire, does not give you the right to hate on real people because you didn't like how a story ended. I have seen some of the most vile, offensive comments about the creators that I have ever seen, and I think it's a disgusting part of having online spaces and communities for discussion. I think it really sucks that when someone is pissed about a show, they don't just vent about the show, but they attack individuals who are involved in it. I think it is so disrespectful. I'm sure you've all heard about the petition to refilm this season. And if you signed the petition, you're one of two things. One, you're an idiot if you wholeheartedly think that a petition is going to make someone or this HBO remake an entire series because some people were mad. Or two, you're an asshole because you know the show's never gonna get, this final season is never gonna get remade, but you just want people who were involved to feel bad about it. And that's not okay. That's horrible. That's horrible. Especially when you say that you've loved the show and it's given you so many good reactions. If you hated this show and you never want to rewatch another one and you don't want to participate in viewing the prequels because you think it's super fucked up how they ended it, that's totally your right, and I keep saying it, but I totally get it. But petitioning to keep the creators away from Star Wars because you don't like how this ended, that is their real life, that is their real career. If you want to end someone's career because of how a show ended, you need to reevaluate where you're at. I would challenge those of you who feel this way and would want their careers to be ruined to do this. Find a book. Pitch it to HBO, film a pilot, fail at that pilot, try again, succeed, break boundaries and set records with the show, win tons of Emmys, and then film with a brilliant, technically talented cast and crew a controversial season, and then sit at home and read these comments from all these people who you've come into their home every week essentially and given them a gift of storytelling, and see all of those people rip it apart, and then read the comments and watch the audacity that they have to ask you after reading all of these mean comments to redo it, and just sit in that and see how that feels. And maybe then you will empathize with these creators the same way that you empathized with a character who pushed a little boy out of a window. Really, I mean, these are real people. I had so much fun watching Game of Thrones. It was a huge accomplishment to the entertainment industry, obviously. I love the meme culture and the community, and that you can go to work and talk about it with strangers. I look up to everyone who is involved in it, and I am so freaking sad that it's coming to an end. But I guess we have the documentary to look forward to and the prequels. I didn't say this in the beginning, I am an aspiring author, screenwriter, and filmmaker. If you want to follow that journey along, please subscribe. Or if you want to rave and rant about Game of Thrones, you can DM me here. I will reply because I am never too busy to talk about Game of Thrones. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back at you soon.